welcome to Festival Temple Castle. So let's clear these guys out real quick and take a look at another idle animation. So last time we saw Goemon's. What's Abysamaru's? Just, you can try to center them on the camera, but don't worry. When a character goes idle, they automatically face the camera. Which is good, because otherwise the camera will try to find what would be a better angle in most situations if it could get into it faster. There he goes. So, Abysamaru sits down and kind of fans himself off a little bit. And after a few seconds, unlike Goemon, he kind of has a second part to his animation, he just goes to sleep. What's Abysamaru dreaming about? Well, coincidentally, this is one of the few areas in the game where you can get one hit killed by something. Being crushed to death is the only way you can lose all your hearts at once, so this is the perfect place to show off everybody's, unique getting squished animations, and also what happens when you get a game over.
So before we get too far away from it, when Abysamaru was first sitting down, I thought he was going to start breakdancing.
I mean, would not surprise me, to be entirely honest.
He put his hands on the floor and then kicked his legs out. I thought he was just going to start, spinning his legs around.
Alright, and that's all the animation. So here's the game over screen. I forget if this is a series-wide game over, but I know it appears in more than one game.
The more we go into this, the more I'm inclined to agree with that one magazine ad. This game is incomprehensible.
I mean, why would you say that? You've made them sad. So anyway, yeah, that's what happens when you quit after getting a game over, but we're gonna try again. We're gonna make them happy and just get... Oh god. Let's maybe wake Abysamaru up and never let him go back to bed. You awake there, buddy? Come on, we got a place to go. So, now we can actually focus on Festival Temple Castle, which is probably my least favorite dungeon in the game. It's not quite a maze, looking back on it, but it certainly feels like one when you're playing it. Instead, though, you kind of want to compartmentalize all of these areas as sort of like a linear path with some branching off, squares of areas for you to explore. There is a through line you need to go through, and you will probably accidentally wander off of that path, because this place is kind of daunting. It also has a slight bit difference in how it's laid out compared to other dungeons, which I feel does actually make it a little more difficult. We'll save that for when we get the map, which should be soon. That being said, though, one thing I can't complain about is the music. The song here is just real catchy. Of course, this is also the sort of low-key version, so we're not hearing a lot of it. But it's got some energy to it. We also get kind of a preview of the gold lucky cat over there. Gotta be a hot minute before we can actually reach it, though.
It taunts us.
It's just over there waving, as it always does. Oh, and these are the best enemies in the game. I don't know if they're called bamboo shoots, but, that's the pun. It can't not be the pun. I just don't know their official names.
If that thing fired and then walked away, you could say bamboo shoots and leaves.
Alright, we need an upgraded version of that enemy with legs. Which is actually pretty great to think about. Just a bamboo pot with legs.
It's just my favorite syntax, joke about syntax. It's just Panda eats bamboo, shoots, and leaves. The Panda walks into a place, takes a bite out of bamboo, and then fires a gun into the ceiling and walks out.
Alright, so, the thing that makes Festival Temple Castle kind of difficult is, it's not split into floors, it's split into cardinal directions, which makes it kind of hard to parse without looking at your map constantly, because you don't really know when you've entered what is a new floor. Normally you have a staircase or an elevator as a very clear indication, hey, you've reached a different set of rooms, but yeah, here you have to look at the map a lot, and I don't like doing that, especially for the LP. So, yeah, thankfully though, like I said, there is a pretty decent through line for this dungeon that you can follow. You just have to know where the offshoots are, so a dry run took care of this. I could mostly remember where to go.
While we're talking about minor annoyances, boy, I can't wait for 3D games to make your, like, collecting hitbox bigger than your model.
Yeah. Sparks from Spyro was a great creation. Just, hey, your health meter also collects money for you.
I can't believe Mega Man Legends 1 is unplayable because of that.
We've got some pretty tough enemies here. These samurai armors take 2 hits to kill, but they also charge straight at you, so they're kind of tricky to deal with. So be cautious and maybe use a long-ranged item when dealing with these guys. Or just avoid them altogether. But yeah, like, back to Mega Man Legends. That game had the vacuum item, and that wasn't great. It was not a good way to sort of settle that, because you just have to waste a weapon slot in order to pick up money easier.
And you only get 1 weapon slot.
Yep.
It'd be one thing if you got like 4, and like, okay, one of these is my designated vacuum slot.
But yeah, you just have to include that in your loadout, which makes your life more difficult in other ways. I love Legends 1, but yeah, god, just... Collecting refractor shards is satisfying, but imagine if you had the vacuum function all the time. Every game that comes after that just proves that having a satisfying item collection, that's one thing. Having a satisfying item collection that just procs constantly? Hi, I'm Ratchet & Clank. It is the best thing on the planet when you just get all of the money. I want all of the money flowing into me at once, please.
You bringing up Sparks earlier is just, I didn't even, like, piece together that Sparks was there to explain why Spyro could pick up things he wasn't directly touching, because no other 3D game has had to explain that. Things fly into you because just to make it easier.
Yeah, everybody will accept that as a game mechanic thing. That is fine. Though I do appreciate Spyro, like, having both a life counter and a money collection thing with, I will say, personality. Sparks doesn't have much of a personality, but he is a character who exists in Spyro the Dragon.
He has visual personality.
Yeah. Them trying to give him a voice, maybe not as good.
I forget, was he the one voiced by David Spade?
I do not remember the voice cast for Spyro games.
There is one set of Spyro games that had, like, weird celebrity voice actors.
I don't remember when that would be.
Pretty sure David Spade was in them.
Yeah, like, if that was a period in which I was playing Spyro, I would not know celebrity voice actors well enough for that to matter.
Yeah.
So, like, if it's past Hero's Tale, then I haven't heard them. But Hero's Tale also feels like the exact time they would be interested in doing that sort of thing. before the popularity kind of waned.
Okay, so on the Legend of Spyro games, in A New Beginning he was voiced by David Spade, with The Eternal Night he was voiced by Billy West, and in Dawn of the Dragon he was voiced by Wayne Brady.
Okay, yeah, no, I guess those games would have actually been the more perfect opportunity for celebrity voice actors. That is, after I stopped playing the Spyro games. And to this day, I'm just still kind of confused as to what they were aiming for.
I think one of those games was the only Spyro game I've ever played. Don't know which one, though.
Ah, oh dear. You know, the Spyro games are beloved, but I feel like there's several games where I would say, oh, that's the only Spyro game you played? That's a shame. Like, any of the Game Boy Advance games? But Season of Ice especially. Having played all of them, there's a period I liked Season of Flame, but then went back to and was like, ugh. Attack of the Rhinox was okay, but I feel like I'd have the same reaction to it going back, and also, even before that, I still have memories of basically every area becoming a teleporter maze in like the back half of the game.
I love that Sega Genesis platformer design.
It's great.
I know they didn't invent teleporter mazes, but they were goddamn everywhere on Sega Genesis games. Anyways, I was gonna say, so outside of the first 3 games for the PlayStation, are there any good Spyro games?
You know, Hero's Tale felt like it was okay, but I was a child, so I don't know what the general consensus on that is. I know everybody hates, Year of the Dragon, was it? Something like that. It was the one on PS2, like after the original trilogy, I think.
Year of the Dragon was the 3rd game in the PlayStation trilogy.
Or, Enter the Dragonfly, then. That must have been it.
Okay.
Enter the Dragonfly, I think.
That might have been the one that I played.
It's the one where you start with Bubble Breath, because something happened to the Dragonfly, so Spyro couldn't do Fire Breath anymore for a little while.
Anyways, go in.
Yeah, so this is, I feel like, a very solidly middle chunk of... Oh god, exploding box. Middle chunk of the dungeon. The hallway we were just in leads to progress overall, but we do want to explore the central rooms a little bit. We also have one of the star blocks that doesn't really work super well. You might want to come into this general area from a different room, because this one took me like 30 seconds to actually latch onto that, which I feel is a good sign that I probably shouldn't have come from this direction, but you know what? The option was there, I took it. Alright, oh god, exploding boxes everywhere. They're here to fuck up the video quality. Alright, so hey, we've got bouncy platforms over here. If you could just leave, please. Thank you. Donk. I love the sound effect of that. What a good drum. And here's Mr. Arrow. He's here to tell you where the boss is, which is kinda useful on this dungeon, as opposed to most of the others. Because with most of the others, you can just look at what seems to be the highest floor and the last room in it and just be like, that's probably where they are. Let's see. Oh yeah, probably should have come in from this direction. Oh well, I didn't. Alright, I'm trying to remember how these rooms go together. Okay, now I remember. Okay, yeah, so this is actually definitely progress. In fact, there is stuff in those central rooms, though. I was just thinking of the order of operations wrong. We want to go this way. So yeah, see, simple through line. It's just the rooms are over there are just all shiny and interesting. You want to go that way. There are doors there. Alright, so technically speaking, this is kind of Sasuke's dungeon, even though I haven't been using him much. Because here's an item for it. He gets the Kunai of Severe Cold. It's very chilly. Alright, so we have another item that expends a Ryo to use, but it also has two functions. It is both a standard attack and a charge attack as well. Its icon on the bottom left looks almost identical to Sasuke's standard kunai. It's got a blue tint to it, so if you are paying attention, then you can tell. If you're maybe not paying attention, you might miss that. Later in the game, though, there will be an easier way to distinguish the Kunai of Severe Cold and just the regular Kunai. So dang, check out good dodges. Perfect dodges. Amazing. Alright, so now that we have the Kunai of Severe Cold and are being relentlessly chased, let's go back to that central room, where out of the corner of your eyes you might have seen some platforms moving up and down that were flashing ever so slightly. These are hot platforms. It's easier to tell that they're hot when you jump on them and get hurt, but yeah, you can cool these down now.
So when does Sasuke get the item that lets him say, "No, I'm just a little guy. It's my birthday, I'm a little birthday boy"?
Yeah, well, you know, that was a planned function, but unfortunately the N64 doesn't have, like, a thing you can input the date on, and you can't put your birthday in. That's how it would have activated. You would have had to play on your actual birthday.
Probably could store all that voice acting on the cartridge.
So anyway, here's a meat hammer. I think Abysamaru would want this. So the meat saw hammer is the way that Abysamaru stays relevant. When you beat an enemy with this, it'll just turn an item into a dumpling, or just, like, auto-give you the dumpling. It's kind of confusingly worded there, but yeah. This is an easy way to heal if you need it, which I will show off right here. Wabam! Free dumpling.
If only it was made out of pork, they could call it the hammer.
So, yeah, if you're ever having trouble and you just have a room full of enemies and you're low on health, just take them all out with a meat saw hammer. So yeah, like I said, probably the one way Abysamaru could stay relevant. No other character has consistent healing like he does. Though, eventually every character will have some form of ranged attack other than Abysamaru. So let's see, we've got this room that Sasuke is needed for, and yeah, there are slight ice physics on the platforms you freeze. It's not as bad as you might think. I never really had trouble with slip and sliding outside of just, you know, getting surprised a little bit by it. That being said, though, throwing sometimes is kind of difficult. For some reason, I miss that platform a lot, and I don't know why. Alright, and there we go. So, just gonna freeze him. That only counts for a single hit, though, and I kinda just tripped over his sword there, so whoops. We also have these fox masks here. This is what the item description was talking about when it said you could freeze the fox's fire. They are weird floating flamethrowers that normally you can't do anything to. However, Sasuke can just freeze the fox masks. And like the masks themselves, not just the fire they spew. They will not permanently die, though. You just have a good few seconds to just leave. That's the one way to deal with them. Just get out of there. Alright, so this might look familiar from earlier. This is the room where we saw the Golden Lucky Cat, which means if we jump down here, we get a whole lot of money and that aforementioned item. Hooray! This room is, of course, also a good shortcut. We did just get the gold key, and the gold lock is on the other side of the dungeon. We have this sort of beginning area with all of the entry area stuff, and also the Sasuke hot platform path. We need to get to the everything else portion, so let's just go this way. We're also going to skip travel over there, because while it's not a huge distance, it's still backtracking.
So, one thing that I can bring up is that since Goemon is a Konami property, that means they made Yu-Gi-Oh cards of it. Goemon, Ebisumaru, Yae, and Sasuke all got Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I feel like I have seen these before, and I will put them in the video, though if you have a quick link to them now, that saved me time from looking at them.
I do have them pulled up, and I will send them to you right now before I forget. Basically, Goemon can force the opponent to discard random cards when you attack with him. Ebisumaru lets Goemon attack directly. Yae can destroy, or not destroy, but get rid of spell and trap cards. And if Sasuke attacks a face-up defense monster, he instantly destroys it.
Jesus. Sasuke's very powerful.
And, like, Sasuke's also the least recognizable one.
Which is impressive, because, like, they just made Goemon very handsome. But yeah, actually, that is a weird-looking Sasuke.
Goemon at least has the color scheme going on.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got the same general design, he's just taller. And just weirdly handsome.
Like, in Ebisumaru, they messed with the colors, but, you know, short, chubby guy. There's only one of those in Goemon. You can tell who it is. And then, Yae, they just sexified her. It's still recognizably her, just drawn by Frank Miller. And then Sasuke, they just completely butchered the design.
Okay, but what if he actually looked like a robot? No, don't do that.
He needs to look like a little guy.
Alright, this is also like the last big central room. We just have these like giant paper kite fish just circling the room. Don't fall, is my good advice, because, boy, there is a lot to restart if you fall, especially if you get unlucky and just fall to the bottom. That didn't happen in this recording, but it did happen on my dry run. The reason I had to cut here was pretty much just, I did some dumb jumps and kind of like went up platforms when I wasn't supposed to, or like accidentally almost made progress. Stuff like that. Made progress without getting the fortune doll, rather. Yeah, so basically with these platforms, if you get to the edge right as that platform has arrived, just wait for it. Like, they take a few seconds to go to where they're going to and then come back around, but like, even still, you waste less time just waiting for them there than trying to jump and doing it too late and just falling to the bottom. And with that, we're actually at the end of Festival Temple Castle. And we're gonna get a boss hint. No, we don't have to use the Kunai of Severe Cold here. This is just gonna be an action boss that anyone can take down. It's the ghost robot, Tsurami. So, Tsurami, their battle just gives you this really cool angle for the fights. You're mostly going to be doing this for the battle, just dodge until you see the red plates and reflect them back. The timing on actually tossing these back can be pretty tricky, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Initially, I think on my dry run, I was just like trying to jump slash them because I thought that would make it easier to hit the plates, but no, it's better to just stand and wait for the timing properly. And yeah, as long as you're moving, Tsurami charging you is just nothing. You don't have to worry about that attack.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't end at 3 hits. I feel like you got it.
Yeah, especially for that first phase. However, once you see that little scene of Tsurami actually reacting, you get a slightly different phase, though this one is dodged the same. This battle has 3 phases overall. The third one is the only one where you'll really be taking any damage. Because this is simple enough to dodge, it's just moving, but more so. And also the timing on actually hitting the plates is a little bit tricky because they come immediately after the attack is lobbed at you, but other than that, dodging is the same.
Like, I reacted to the number of plates, but yeah, you dodge it by doing the exact same maneuver, so this isn't actually any more difficult. If they just, like, cut the number of hits in half, that wouldn't even be that much of a problem, because it would at least, you know, look different.
Yeah, I think, especially since, you know, through every hit you can get, you can actually get 2 hits. I think it would have made sense to just, just make it so it has less HP to make the 2-plate thing more effective. Also, yeah, I managed to hit it from behind, which just looks cool. Anyway, third phase, he just starts throwing the fucking plates around randomly. So you don't just want to move around in a circle, you actually kind of have to pay attention to where everything's coming from. And yeah, this time around there's almost no time between the main attack and the red plate throwing, so you have to be ready for that thing. Which is kind of tricky because these plates are yellow, and ruining the video. Just absolutely obliterating the quality with particle effects. So yeah, not quite as cool overall as the previous boss, because that was just neat, but also, I do really like this angle. Yeah, it just looks really cool, running in this circle. It's just a dramatic angle all the time.
Yeah, the dramatic angle is cool, but pretty much everything else about the boss is not.
You just made me stronger, Tsurami. You just made me too cool to lose, and also did not have any good attacks. You had 2 attacks which were basically just the same. And I feel like that last phase is actually the shortest. Oh hey, look, it's a star from Super Mario RPG, Legend of the 7 Stars. Alright, well, time to pick it up and ruin Mario's day. Miracle star in the shape of a star.
Yahoo!
No, my Sharon robot! Guess it was just named Sharon Robot all the time.
Blocking passage.
Yeah. You just tried to go to that region and some guy would waltz up to you and say, "Hey, what's all this then?" And you would just leave because you didn't want to deal with that.
I thought it would just turn you into a cocky man if you walked past it.
Well, that's also horrifying. So anyway, I was gonna say, here's our other main villain, but no, here's our other weirdo. Thank you, Goemon. Yeah, sure, dancing's weird, but me, I'm great. Of course, we already heard that she has the oh ho ho laugh in the intro of the game, but now we just get it now that she's on screen. Can get it more frequently. It's Kitty Lily. Please don't make your name Flash, it's hard to read like that. I hate Zoom meetings.
The laugh track is weird, but it's also killing me because like every time it plays, I know there was a pun there that didn't get translated.
Mm-hmm. Instead, the audience is just laughing at, you know, Sasuke refuting being called a clown, which is just pretty basic, honestly.
See, they're getting voice acting, and this has a hilarious dub. I'm talking like Chaos Wars level of awful.
But how do we get back to Tokyo?
Wow, I really can't feel anything.
God. What an amazing dub. Like, there is fucking B-movie grade, and then there is that.
Got my 6-year-old son to voice half the characters, what could go wrong?
We're just laughing at that man crying. He's just having a bad day.
Yeah, that was this week's guest star. Played by a super recognizable guy. The audience is just giving it up for him.
Ah, well, we'll have to deal with him next time on Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.